5, Joe Amato.
Now, some of you sharp-eyed observers will have noticed that Tommy Johnson changed from using small front wheels the first 2 rounds to larger ones for the rest of eliminations. Well, this strategy is employed to run lower ETs in order to secure lane choice. And in this week's Fast Fact, Frank Hawley shows us how this is possible.
I'm here on the starting line to talk about something we call rollout and how it affects both your elapsed time and your reaction time. As the driver pulls forward and stages the car, he'll stop the instant the stage light comes on. Now, as the tree comes on and he takes off on the run, he has to travel a fair distance and leave the stage beam before he can get a reaction time or the ET clock starts. In this case, this wheel went about 13 inches. That distance is called rollout. Now, if we change the size of the front wheel and take a wheel like this, which we see on a lot of alcohol cars and top fuel cars, we find that this wheel only has to go about 9 inches to leave the stage beam, or a difference of about 4 inches of rollout. Now, what happens with the numbers is this. The driver with the car with the small front wheel doesn't have to go as far as the driver with the big front wheel. Therefore, he makes his run, he's going to get a better reaction time than the driver with the large front wheel, but a slower ET, because the driver with the large front wheel has a further distance to go before he breaks the beam. His car will be going faster, and he'll have a better ET. Now, which wheel should you have on your car? Well, it depends, of course, on what type of racing you're doing. But I think if you're running an open competition where there's no breakout, that you ought to go with the front wheel that's going to give you a better ET.
Art Morrison is just not the kind of guy that waits for something to break at the racetrack to find out it wasn't strong enough to begin with. He has got a device here that could crush kryptonite. Now, earlier we tested the industry standard spherical rod end used in a lot of ladder bar applications. It broke at 17,500 psi. Right now he's got his own Morrison solid rod end in there. Let's see where it's going to break. It's climbing, it's climbing. It's way past 17,005. This is one strong piece. Look out. Whoa, how high will it go? Whoa, almost 50,000 pounds. That is 3 times anything it might see under the stress of competition. In addition to the regular eliminations last week at Seattle, NHRA held the first National Dragster Alcohol Showdown events of 1993. The finals of Top Alcohol Dragster matched George Johnson's yellow B1 powered entry against Rick Sano's small block Chevy. And in a race of attrition, first Johnson broke at the line, and then the little engine that could, did, and died.
Yeah, it looks like we might have won the race, but lost the battle. I kind of give up. I guess that's going to happen. The little thing's been running really hard. It finally just couldn't take any more.
In Alcohol Funny Car, Pat Austin came in as an alternate, but left as a winner, knocking off Terry De La Verne and turning around the team's fortunes.
I gotta say, I take my hat off to my dad and my whole crew. They struggled for the last month or so, month and a half, and stupid things going wrong, and they just kept their heads to the grindstone and done a good job, and just happy for all of them.
You're watching Sky Sports.
Welcome back to Art Morrison Enterprises. Art, it's time to find out how the screwjack works on a real race car.
Right, Steve. My son Craig is in the car right now. It's the Carcraft Project car. The screwjack is a very, very stable method for raising a car. It allows you to jack the car up, do the warm-up. You can go through the entire process that you would normally do with a floor jack, only in half the time, and it is a lot safer than a normal floor jack.
Right now, let's find out how this very car fared this last weekend in Seattle with Mike Berner at the wheel. Here's Bob Fry with the Sportsman Report.
55 Chevrolets have been among the most popular cars on the street and the strip for almost 40 years now. And there's not a lot of folks around the country that are very familiar with every super gas car in every division. But thanks to a couple of folks, you probably know this 1955. This is the car built by Art Morrison and highlighted as the project car in Carcraft magazine.
Well, it's really interesting because throughout the year we've had a chance to talk to all sorts of people across the country wherever we've taken the car that have been following the project, and they're trying to build one of their own. They followed it, and they wait for the next month's issue to come out so they get the next update on what we're doing with the car and stuff. It's a well-designed car, and I mean, it's so simple to drive. It's people say, gee, it must be really tough, huh? You gotta kind of fib and say, yeah, boy, it was really tough today at the office, you know, but it's not.
Mike's office scenery changes quite a bit in the 990 class because the Morrison 55 Chevrolet can meet up with just about any kind of body configuration. And that's just one of the attractions of Super Gas Eliminator.
Probably a variety of cars, different styles. You can do whatever you want to do.
There's a lot of personality in the cars and with the people that run them, and you get a certain amount of identification with a car, and that's probably the biggest reason we stuck with it. There's a lot of nice swoopy cars out here, and you know, we'd like to see a new swoopy car too, but we can't get rid of our old box.
This potpourri of power doesn't stop with old cars. You even have to include Jeeps, like Scott Bacon's 42 model.
It's pretty unique. That's why we stuck with it.
When 93 Autolite Nationals winner James Arsenault bought this Aqua 62 Vette, it wasn't because it was unique.
I hate to say this, but the color combination. I like the color. I had a Chevelle and it was too heavy, and I didn't have quite enough horsepower. So I needed to find something a little lighter, and I came by this, and it was the colors that I liked. So I bought the car and put my engine and trans in it.
When the wide variety of super gases had been whittled down to the two finalists, it was the classic super gas roadster of Mickey Caldwell matched up against the 55 Chevy of Larry Marshall. At the launch, Caldwell had a near perfect light, and the Canadian would not be denied his first ever win, and he got it on a double breakout. How long you been doing this?
Oh, since 56.
You're not going to wait this long to win again, are you?
No, that's for sure.
Now, here are the rest of the winners from the Jolly Rancher Nationals. For NHRA Today, I'm Bob Fry.
Morrison Enterprises is one of the few companies that can mandrel bend their 2x3 frame rails rather than cut and welding. And it's all done on this programmable machine. And it's not a one-size-fits-all. Each is for a specific application. This happens to be a 67 to 69 Camaro, but there are hundreds in their computer. Comp Eliminator driver and two-time Winston champion Bill Moropoulos will never forget the summer of '93, as he flirted with a spot in the NHRA record book during the 3 races in his mini weeks Western Swing. First, Bill knocked off David Nickens in the thin air of Denver. Then he overcame Jeff Krug on the 100-plus degree heated Sears Point. A win at Seattle would have made him the only comp driver in history to win 3 consecutive national events. And Bill came up just shy in his quest for glory.
We were feeling pretty good going in, but I think that 507 in the semis got me a little worried, so I made the car leave a little slower, so I would try to leave in the same spot.
Art, your business is not selling complete cars like this one.
No, it's not, Steve. What we do is we sell all of the bent tubing and the blueprints, everything necessary to put these cars together in a garage where a person with the basic fabrication skills can do it on their own.
Well, the skill level, I can tell you, was very high in Pro Stock this past weekend. Here is Dave's final report.
The Jolly Rancher Candies Nationals showed why Pro Stock is the most evenly matched NHRA professional category, with the entire field covered by less than 1/10 of a second. Defending event champion Mark Powick knows that one slight turn of the wrench on the Summit Racing Cutlass can take a team from event winner to non-qualifier.
We started out real with a bang, I guess. We went to our second race and won it, and then between a driving slump and the car kind of falling off a little bit, we struggled in the middle of the season, but I think we're back on the road to running well again. We just need a couple breaks.
But the breaks are few in Pro Stock as Powick drew number 11 qualifier Bruce Allen in the first round. At the green, Powick in the far lane got the reaction advantage and motored away, ending the day for Allen and his Super Shops Lumina.
In the second round, Mark defeated Mark Osborne, which set up a Final Four meeting with the Mopar Parts Dodge Daytona driven by Scott Jeffreyon. In a rematch of last year's final here at Seattle, Scott held the all-important lane choice.
Jeffreyon selected the near lane, but Powick's hole shot advantage helped Mark to take the victory despite Scott's quicker elapsed time. The margin of victory, 1/1000 of a second. The other Final Four was another edition of the Family Feud, Pro Stock style, as current points leader Warren Johnson's GM Performance Parts Cutlass took on son Kurt's Long Island Dragway entry. As in the other pairing, Dad's lower ET in the far lane was not enough to overcome the younger Johnson's quicker reaction time. In the final, it was defending champ Powick facing Johnson, who was looking for his first national event win. The cars were even at half-track, but Kurt surged ahead to join his father in the 1993 win column.
I put 4 of them round wins together to get a big win, and it's unbelievable. It just feels great.
Well, the points chase has tightened up between the Johnson & Johnson family. WJ continues to lead, KJ second, Scott Jeffrey on third, followed by Larry Morgan and Bob Glidden.
For all of us here at NHRA Today, I'm Steve Evans, and we'll see you then.
NHRA Today is a presentation of Diamond P Sports.
Is Sky Sports.
Coming to you from Calcutta. It should be a really tremendous atmosphere in Eden Gardens. I just